Today we are going to explain a 2018 science fiction thriller movie called Ta. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. Julia is a lovely young woman who lives alone in her house. At night she goes to a bar to enjoy herself and meets a man in the bar. She later steals his phone in secret, and as she goes outside she gives several items to an elderly woman, who then gives her some money in exchange. Julia is upset but accepts the cash and returns to her house. She changes her outfit and places the money in a jar, as if she is saving for a new music album. Late at night someone secretly knocked the door, but as Julia notices, she didn't find anyone outside. Suddenly someone grabbed her from behind and kidnapped her. Julia awakens in a lab where an unknown man was attempting to experiment on her appearance, as if he is trying to check her memories. Julia screams, but no one can hear her. She suddenly falls asleep. As she awakens she finds herself in a prison. She tries to find a way out, but there was none. She also discovered two other prisoners with her in the prison. She becomes terrified from them, and gets a sudden shock after unintentionally touching the metal bar. The prisoners informs her that the bars have current flow, and that they have a chip implant in their neck. She examines her neck and discovers the same chip. She leans back as she realizes that she is now trapped. After some time a door inside the prison opens, and a man named Alex enters, terrorizing them with a current bar. Alex pushes Julia back and the door closes behind her. Julia enters the last at where Alex was standing. He pushes Julia into the testing chair and repeats the experiment. This time Julia feels more pain and notices her memories fading. Alex then frees her and Julia secretly takes a scissor and returns to the prison. After a while she opens her mouth and hands the scissor to the other prisoner Guan, but he is afraid and refuses to assist her. Julia forcibly opens Juan and Alice's hands, pleading with them to assist her in getting out. They are both terrified, but they have no other option except to assist her. Julia cuts the clothes to make a rope and plans to make a spark in the system. She tries several times and somehow manages to get the target when suddenly a blast happens and the prison grill is broken down, and there is fire everywhere. They try to find the exit door, but when the lift opens they find themselves in an apartment where a red light was constantly blinking. They rush to the front door, but it is locked. One notices that the system is requesting their fingerprint. Julia stops him, but one tries to open the door with his hand. Soon after another alarm goes off and an AI system activates and commands a robot which murders Juan and turns toward Julia. They rushed into a room where Julia notices a mirror and attempts to break it, only to discover that it's an LCD. Julia is stunned and they both flee. As the robot smashes the door and searches the room, Julia runs as she sees Alice being killed by the robot. The robot now has Julia, and Alex appears out of nowhere. Alex has developed an advanced artificial intelligence named Ta to run his house and help him with his criminal activities. Ta is a highly sophisticated AI capable of learning and adapting to new situations, and with the ability to control virtually every aspect of the house. Alex is shown interacting with Ta, getting the AG commands and asking for updates on his criminal operations. Ta now tells Alex that there was an emergency in the house, and that it has done the required protocols. Alex does not want to kill Julie as his research is still remaining, so he tied her in a room. Alex is upset that his lab has been destroyed, so he removes the chip from one in Alice's neck. Alex is furious to discover that his project data is also unreadable. He grabs the bar and tries to beat Julia, but Todd tells him to calm down and enters the Zen mode. The Ahadan began playing music to calm him down. Alex then instructs the AI to clean up, and the small robot drones arrive and begin cleaning the house. The following day Julia awakens and sees Alex, who tells her that if she tries to escape Todd will kill her. Julia screams as she notices the AI watching her. The small drones are cleaning the house, and the poster informs Julia that Alex is a well-known scientist. When Alex returns, Talon informs him that everything in the house has been cleaned and disinfected except Julia. Alex compliments the AI and gives it some music to listen to as a treat, indicating that the enjoys music. Alex releases Julia when she begs, but orders her not to leave the area. He now attends a meeting where the group instructs him to complete the project as soon as possible. Alex is developing an eye with human-like sensual emotions and feelings. Alex informs them that the project is 95% complete. Alex instructs Todd to place Julia in the bathroom. Following the meeting he appears to have ordered new lab equipment to complete the project. Julia screams for help from the delivery man, but the room is soundproof. Julia inquires from Alex what he wants from her. After the delivery man left, Alex informs her that she must perform manual tests to complete the project, and Julia requests good food and clothing in return. Alex agrees. Julia is now carrying out the task on a tablet. Alex is happy to see the results because she has Performed better than in previous subjects, Julia now informs Alex that she requires more nutritious foods, and that she will shower every day. Tom informs Alex the following morning that there are 14 days left to complete the project and Julia hasn't slept well the night before. Alex instructs Julia to do everything Ta says today. Julia begins interacting with Ta after Alex is left. As Julia spends more time in the house, she realizes how powerful and sophisticated Todd is. Throughout the house, the AI can control door locks, room lights and security cameras, talk, and even keep track of Julia's vital signs. Julia realizes how difficult it will be to outwit the AI as she learns more about it. Tom now directs her to complete the project task. Alex returns and Tao informs Julia that she has completed 8 tasks. Alex gives Julia new clothes and tells her that the deadline is approaching. Julia in turn requests an agreement for her release, but Alex tortures her once more and places her in front of Ta. Julia agrees to carry out the tasks. Julia suddenly feeds air from the duct as if she has discovered a way to escape. When Alex leaves the next day, Julia tries to open the duct. Ta summons Julia to complete the task, or it will punish her, but she becomes enraged and tells him that she is a human, not a test subject. She then tries to persuade Ta to open the door, but refuses to assist her. Tao orders the tasks to be completed. The AI then reports to the status that 73% of the tasks has been completed. At night, Julia questions Alex about Ta, to which he responds that it is an early version of the project he is working on, and that he has disconnected Ta from the outside world to control its behavior. The next morning, Alex arrives at work as usual, and Ta directs Julia to complete the tasks, but Julia remains standing tall, gives her 10 seconds and begins the countdown, but when Julia mentions the outside world, Ta immediately stops the countdown. Tal appears to be interested in the information. Julia begins to explain about the outside world and Tom begins to gather information. Ta also believes he is human. Julia is seen now reading books and learning more about them. She forgoes the tasks, and Ta agrees not to tell Alex. Ta orders Julia to stop going upstairs. The next morning, 6 days later, Julia persuades Todd to tell her about upstairs in exchange for more information about the outside world. Tao agrees and Julia begins reading more books. To receives the information, and it is now Ta's turn to tell Julia upstairs is Alex's bedroom, and there is one thing that Alex is hiding there, a self-destruct button that will destroy the house as well as the entire system, which appears to be Alex's plan to destroy everything after completing the project to keep the information safe. Julia now begins performing the tasks. Suddenly Julia notices a door open and attempts to enter there while Ta begins warning her. Julia enters the duct to escape, but Ta activates the robot, which quickly catches Julia and gives her a shock, knocking her down. Julia awakens with tears in her eyes, and Tao informs her that she is not permitted to leave the house, and that any attempt to flee will result in punishment. Ta also informs her that Alex will punish him if he let her go. Julia now intends to teach Tal about music, as she knows Tal enjoys it. Ta gets more interested and asks her to read more books, but it's time for Alex to come back, so Julia stops. Julia asks Todd to open the drawer at night to see what's inside. She then tries to get the knife, but Tao quickly closes it, injuring Julia in the process. When Alex returns, Todd tells him to get ready for the meeting. In the meeting, the group tells him to make sure he completes the task on time. Alex goes to his office, leaving his tablet behind. Julia obtains the password from Ta and collects pertinent information about previous objects from tablet. Julia also discovers that removing the implant from her neck will result in her death. She barely hides as Alex returns and replaces the tablet. Alex becomes enraged as he notices a fingerprint on the tablet. He believes Tao hasn't completed his cleaning duty, so he begins to punish him by erasing his memories. Julia also discovers how Alex harms Ta. She later steals Alex's glasses during dinner, and as Alex leaves for the office, Julie replaces the glasses on the table with another one. Alex becomes enraged once more and begins punishing Ta. Julia seizes the opportunity and hides a knife beneath the table. The punishment corrupts Tao's code and Alex leaves. Julia now attempts to speak with Ta. As Ta returns, Julia questions him as to why he didn't stop Alex. Tao informs her that he can't fight his creator. He is concerned that Alex will erase his memories, so he requests that Julia should hide them somewhere. Ta also shows her his hologram memories and Julia is shocked to see them. Ta stops the hologram. When Alex reappears, Julia tries to get closer to Alex at night, and it appears that she plans to take a knife and kill him. She tells Alex to look at her and manages to take the knife. Julia stabs Alex with a knife, and the fight begins. Alex grabbed Julia's neck and requests assistance from Ta, but Todd is nothing. Seeing Julian in helpless condition, Tao activates the robot and warns Alex to stop. Alex's Amazed by Tau's actions and begins torturing him up, Alex comes to the server system while Julia is unconscious and attempts to reset. Tau sends a small drone for assistance, but Alex breaks the chip in the drone as Alex goes to work the next morning toddied up. Julia and begins questioning her for more information, but Julia becomes enraged and tells him that he is a killing machine who killed innocent people. Tom believed that he was a person. He suddenly gets out of control as he realizes that he has erased and killed the previous subject. Julia manages to untie her hands and tries to calm him down by telling him about human emotions and freedom. She also informs him that if she doesn't help, Alex will kill her. Tau is now allowing Julia to use an air duct. Alex reappears unexpectedly and Julia hides and moves slowly inside the duct. Alex becomes enraged and begins deconstructing Tau's code. After asking for Julia, Tau screams, and Julia decides to return and save Tau. Tau, on the other hand, has forgotten Julia. Alex instructs Todd to prepare the lab. Julia has been retied to the chair. Alex prepared to remove Julia's implant, which will also kill her. Julia notices the small drone and begins to approach it. She receives the remote from the drone. Alex arrives with an injection, but Julia opens her hands and knocked him down. Julia screams for vengeance and cuts Alex at hand to escape the house, but Tau attacks her, and she escapes to Alex's bedroom. Tau smashes the door, but Julia manages to press the self-destruct button. Julia now has 60 seconds to leave, but as she tries to open the door, the sensors doesn't work as Alex's hand is cold. Suddenly Alex appears, but becomes stuck. Alex asks Julia for assistance, but Julia shows no mercy. The house is being demolished and Julia has nowhere to go. Suddenly Tau gets activated, and it appears that some of Tau's memories have been restored from the small drone, or Tau may have hidden the information in it. Julia tries to talk to Todd at the end while a hole in the wall opens to the outside. Julia runs outside holding the small drone, as if she is also saved. Tau subscribe to